Hey, what's good, IG? Just want to do a quick legal talk on a few things that I've seen out in the news about the rioters. Now that we've got the Senate, all of Congress, President, VP Kamala Harris sworn in, a lot of people have been calling the rioters domestic terrorists. They said what they did was treasonous. It was insurrection. Just want to do a quick talk about those terms and what I think is going to happen with them and Trump, and what I think should happen, which is different in some cases. So insurrection is punishable by a max penalty of 10 years in prison. Treason, max punishment is life in prison. The death penalty. Very different. But treason we haven't had a treason conviction in this country since 1952, and federal prosecutors haven't even pursued it with an indictment since 1954. Unlikely, even though Trump committed treason by the definition of the statute, and those rioters committed treason. Insurrection carries a max penalty of 10 years. Both of these are defined in the federal statutes as violently attempting to overthrow the government, which is what they did. There's no doubt about that. They stormed the Capitol by force, trying to stop a certification for what did make Joe Biden president of the United States. People have been calling them domestic terrorists, which is true. There is a definition of domestic terrorism in the United States Code, but the twist is there's no punishment for domestic terrorism. So you go back to the Boston bomber, the Unabomber, Oklahoma City, all these people who were here in the States and committed acts of domestic terrorism, because there's no punishment on the books for it. They were all convicted of things ranging from murder to containing, weapons of mass destruction, but they weren't convicted of domestic terrorism because there's no punishment for it in the federal statute. So, there was a guy with the zip ties, woman stole Pelosi's laptop, people joined in murdering a police officer. These people, expect them to get charged and convicted, hopefully, in all these cases of things ranging from attempted kidnapping for the zip tie man, burglary for these people who broke in and committed the felony inside of the Capitol, and murder for any person who laid a hand or played a part in the killing of the officer during that riot. As for Trump, that's the big one. I think he should be convicted for everything he committed. And he did commit treason. He did commit insurrection. He led a mob to storm the Capitol to stop Joe Biden from being the next president. Now, will he be convicted and sentenced? We'll see. We'll see. The argument against it is we want to just move on. We want to heal. We want to, do this for the good of the country. But the argument for prosecuting former President Trump is much, much stronger. It's to prevent any person in the future from attempting to do this. That's the point of criminal law, basically. We want to lock up people to prevent that person from committing future acts, is to deter that person, but also other people. People need to know that there are consequences to committing crimes. And Trump committed several of them, and he needs to face punishment for this, because we will have another smarter and more competent person to come along and rile up a crowd that Trump has riled up. So that's my talk, guys. Again, insurrection, treason have different levels of punishment, but basically define the same kind of conduct. Domestic terrorism, there's a definition for it. So people are legally and factually right to call these people domestic terrorists, but there is no actual penalty for domestic terrorism. So don't be surprised. There will not be any convictions for people being domestic terrorists. They'll simply be convicted for things that are already on the books on state and federal law. You guys got any questions? DM me or just hit me up in the comments below.